Hello everyone, this is Jared. Today I'm gonna teach you how to build some really cool custom trees for your Minecraft world. However, this is not gonna be a block by block tutorial, because they come in all shapes and forms, so there are endless ways to build them. So I'm gonna teach you the principles, and then from there it's up to your own creativity. Let's get right started with some oak. So I do recommend using the oak wood instead of your normal oak log, because that makes building it a lot easier and it looks quite a bit smoother too. For the details we then use spruce wood, because it has quite a similar color and it goes together really well. And so what we want to do for step 1 is we want to get the rough shape just blocked out, and it's easy to get carried away with those, to make them too big, for example. Okay, once you have the rough form, it doesn't have to be much, we go in and add a bunch of details to it. It really helps if you have like a bit of a root network at the bottom, just to give it a little bit more depth. And then from here on we just try to round it all off a little bit. And then for the smaller branches we use fences and fence gates. And then once we have something that we like the rough shape of, we can get rid of those. And we take our leaves. And for the leaves, I really recommend using 2 different kinds of leaves. For this I'm gonna use jungle and oak leaves. And that just really helps to give it a lot of texture. And with the leaves you really want to leave a lot of air gaps, so that a lot of light can get through it still. This does take quite a bit of practice, so don't be encouraged if your first tree looks a bit not great. But it does get better with practice. Then it's really important not to forget the underside, otherwise it might look really flat on the underside, or you might have some really big holes. But on this one it actually looks pretty good. And then once you have something you like, you can go one step further and add some green wool, green glass and green stained panels. And what I like to think about this is the green wool is like the shades, so that would go like on the inside of the tree a little bit and the underside of it. And just a few, doesn't have to be many, just here and there some. And then the glass really adds to the transparency and letting through the light, which is all about trees, right? So if you go out in nature and you look at trees, you see that they do still let a lot of light through actually, which is something we got to keep in mind here to make the trees look as good as we can. And then we can go off and round some corners off with our glass panels. Here's important to notice though that they only connect to the glass and the wool and not to the leaves. Like if I would put it here, it's just single wall, and that doesn't look good at all. It looks really nice, it's gotten some texture to it, and up close you can still see the branches from the bottom, and that's how easy it is to make a custom oak tree. For the spruce tree we're gonna use spruce wood and the dark oak to give it some detailing, because it looks really similar in color, so it will fit together quite nicely. And with the spruce tree it's actually quite easy, because if you look them up, they're basically just straight. And so I'm gonna use the fences and the fence gates for this one now to add some details in. Maybe some slabs here and there, nothing too fancy. The bottom wants to be a little bit further out, a little bit wider than the top, because we do want to keep the rough shapes of the vanilla trees. Once we have the rough shape of that, we can go and grab our leaves, and here again we are using 2 different leaves. We are using the spruce leaves and the birch leaves for this one. And here again we want to make sure we leave a lot of air gaps. What I like to do on this one is get a rough shape down for the bottom first, and then just add a bunch of gaps and work my way up from there. And then with this one as well, we gotta make sure we cover the underside, because otherwise it just looks really hollow. Just leave some air gaps, but just a couple of them. Again, go ahead and add some green glass to it. Just a little bit again, nothing too crazy, just for some extra detailing. This step can absolutely be skipped. I myself think sometimes it's a little bit overkill. Depends on what you want to achieve and how detailed you want to go with your build. So yeah, the spruce tree is definitely the easiest in my opinion. The birch one is also quite nice though, because for the birch one we're gonna use birch wood and then diorite, because the texture goes really well together. And so if you Google birch trees, they're really long and quite straight, but they tend to just split off sometimes into two different parts. And then again, once we have the rough shape, we can come in and add all the details to it to just make it look really nice. Once we are ready with the tree itself, we can start adding some leaves again. Just some birch and oak leaves. Once again, we are adding two different types of leaves, just so we can mix it up a little bit. And here again, as always, make sure to leave a lot of air gaps, so that a lot of light can still get through, and it just looks nice and fluffy. And then that's how easy it is to make a birch tree. If you want to go real crazy, I looked up pictures for reference for the birch tree, and I found some autumn trees where the leaves turned all orange, which looked really beautiful. So I went ahead back here and tried that, and it looks really good too. With that one I noticed the best blocks to use are yellow terracotta, orange stained glass, and then the red stained glass. Because the yellow stained glass looks really bad actually. I can show you. It has this, it's too bright, I think. It's important to add a lot of glass to it though, so the light gets through and it's not just one dark big blob. Because with leaves it's okay-ish, because they're already transparent a little bit, right? But the terracotta blocks are not at all. So we want to really add a lot of glass here. And yeah, I'm totally in love with this one. It's really pretty. Anyway, and here also again, you can go ahead and add some green and white glass to it, just to give it some accents. I tend to, if I add green and white, I would do the green at the bottom and then the white for the highlights at the top, where the light is hitting the tree most often. For the Acacia custom tree, we're gonna use obviously Acacia wood. You can use dripstone block, and for the detailing we're gonna use mud bricks. They look really well together. As always, here again, we're gonna get the rough shape. And then once we have the rough shape, we will again, oh, I'm missing half the blocks. Once again, adding all the details and just make it look really nice and smooth. And you can really add as much or as little as you want to here. It really doesn't matter too much. As long as you like the tree in the end, because it's gonna be in your world after all. Once we're happy with that shape, we're gonna add some jungle leaves and acacia leaves. And like we can see on the vanilla trees, the acacia trees really want to have those. They like to be a little bit separated, so we will try to imitate that here too. So like with the spruce tree, I like to get the rough shape first, and then obviously we gotta punch a bunch of holes back into it. Make sure we're gonna build nice and three-dimensional here. just like that, we have a very custom acacia tree, which looks quite a bit better than the normal one, if you ask me. For the last one of today, we're gonna do, of course, the cherry tree. For that, we're gonna use cherry wood and then nether bricks for the detailing. Once again, they go really well together, color-wise. As always, we start out with the basic shape. Now, the cherry tree really is branching off into all different kinds of direction, and it's going quite crazy, actually. So we'll try to replicate this here a little bit. And then once we're happy with the rough form, we again add in all the details. And then once we're happy with that, we can go ahead and add some leaves. For this we will for now just use the cherry leaves and then later go over it again and add a bunch of little details to it. And because the cherry leaves are not as translucent as other leaves, we gotta be really gentle here with how many we place. Like, I have a lot of air gaps in here, and I could probably do better. But for now this looks not too bad, actually. It's a nice little cherry tree. If we want to add details to that one, we can use pink and white wool and then pink and white glass again. And here again, the pink wool is for the bottom, where it's like some shaded areas, because the pink wool is a little bit darker. And here, like I said, it's a small tree, we're really just gently putting some in there. And then the white wool is for the top to add some sparkling detail, I guess. And then same with the glass, if we want to go crazy and add some glass in as well. Glass will go, the white glass will go at the top, and then the pink one at the bottom or on the outsides. Just a few, doesn't have to be much really. Just a little bit already goes quite a long way. And then if we are feeling really brave, we can add in some of those glass stripes as well. And that's our very custom cherry tree. This one is quite a bit smaller to its counterpart over here. But let me know in the comments below, would you build this one over your normal cherry tree? I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If so, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because there are heaps more to come. Also, let me know in the comments below which of those trees is your favorite one. For me, it's definitely the birch wood with the autumn leaves. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and see you next time. Bye!